What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to go into a little bit of baseball. As I said on a couple occasions, just because baseball can be pretty boring as far as most of my picks are metric based. It's really a system that I use. It's a variation of the martingale. So I typically just post everything on my Buy Me a Coffee, and it's just my picks and how many increments we're going to do. But we are going into football season, and there is some similar logic that's invoked, and we're going to be doing all the football picks, of course. So I wanted to go into just a couple of things that stuck out to me, and just one way I think you can optimize your value as far as understanding if one thing happens, more than likely this is going to happen, and you can get better value. So, and again, it goes into why I like certain picks. So off the bat, I like the Phillies here to cover the 1.5 here, the plus 150, and I like it for a few reasons. The suckers reason would be they're at the top of the inning; it's more likely, but that's really just not the case. Actually, today they were winning, and then in the bottom of the 10th they lost by 2 because the team in the bottom of the inning, the Pirates, hit a 2-run homer. So I think Vegas knows that, and sometimes you can get some really good values with the home team minus 1.5. But my point is, I like the Phillies because they haven't covered greatly this year, which, if you check at the end of the year, there'll be some outliers, but you're not going to have a handful of teams finishing in the 30s and in the 70s on the cover either way, and really it's always going to fall between 40 and 60. But furthermore, I do think they're going to win. So if I think they're going to win, I think the value is there to take the plus 150. Now, what I do, for those of you that don't know, and it's the reason we did so good with football, and we do so many plays of baseball, I haven't kept track, but it's one of those things where we have green days even with bad days, and also even with bad streaks, we quickly rebound, and we did the same with football. And the reason is, as I said, it's like a level type of system. So the way it would work, if this was your first ever wager, you would just do a unit on the Phillies to cover this. So say that's $50. You put 50 on it, and if they hit right away, that's great. You're getting 50, plus you're going to get 25, so it's going to pay back 75, which is great. Now say it doesn't, and we do level 2. Well, now it's 100 to win 150. And you notice that the net exponentially increases. In a regular martingale, you would go 20, 50, 100. You're getting your even odds back, and that's it. You're going to get 1 unit at the end of the day. This way, we actually just did this. I put some plays out, and I'm not saying it's always the case, but I have noticed that the highest value and the best earnings have come from a leg 2, a leg 3. So say unit 1 misses, and now we go unit 2, Phillies cover, and it's around 150 again, plus 150. Well, now we did 50 the first time. Now we're doing 100 to win 150. That's 250. Now we didn't just profit 1 unit. We profited 4 units. So you can see how, it actually exponentially increases depending on the value. And then if it goes to a leg 3, which is what happened with us today with the Cardinals, we took them leg 3 for the cover, and it netted about 4 units versus 1, which at the end of the day pays out. It pays such dividends because we only need to, if we're doing this system, 1 unit, 2 units, 4 units, we have to accrue 7 units, and then we can lose a 3-level loss. And so I just wanted to go into that. That's like the rudimentary aspect of it, just the bare, tact, and just so people understand where we're going to be going with football season, but we can still cover baseball. Like I said, I post all of my picks just because it's way easier, and to do them every single night, even typing them out takes some time. So I post all of them on the membership, but I did think I'd go into my mentality. So the reason I like the Phillies, again, they're like a game behind the Marlins. I think they're going to keep it close. Phillies not great on the cover. Marlins at home. Cabrera going. Feel like the public's going to be on Miami, and I think that makes sense for the Phillies to cover. And then the other thing I wanted to go into, because this is another thing I just brought up dropping it in the Discord in a minute, actually. And it's props, because I've been actually just kind of doing little test trials with them. First, I was like, okay, I'm going to chase guys that haven't hit home runs in like 10 games, because, they're going to eventually. And that doesn't work so well. I think Julio Rodriguez went like 30 games without hitting any. And Summer Hutchinson brought to my attention how a bunch of players were, this guy hit one, then he hit another. And then this guy went like 10 games, but then he hit 2 in a row. And then Stephen Baldwin also brought to my attention with Rodriguez, because I stopped chasing the dude. I got paid off on him once, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do this, And then for like the next 3 games, he hit home runs. So I've noticed that it's like they give players, it seems like, and maybe this is why, instead of a player going, hitting a home run every 3-4 games, they won't for 9 or 10 games, but then they'll have like a 2-homer game, or they'll have just a string of games where they do really well. So between the fact that we have a over-under of 11.5 here for the Padres-Rockies, I think that's, it's cores, I get it, and the Padres can hit, the Rockies kind of can hit, not the greatest pitchers, but it's still pretty darn high. Anytime you get over 10, that's a pretty high over-under. And the Rockies aren't the greatest scorers, so I have a feeling, just looking at that, and the Padres haven't gone over a lot this year. So I think a lot of people are going to look at that. I think they played in Colorado and didn't go over a bunch. So I think people are going to look at that and more inclined to hit the under. So this is another, just a little like prop that I liked. I think I have it. Here it is. It's okay, it's not the home run. This is so I like Sanchez to hit a home run, because he just hit one, or he didn't hit a home run, but he just had like a 2 RBI, 2-hit game. He had one pretty recently, but he doesn't have a ton of home runs on the year. And in cores, I feel like people are going to pound, and I have a little bit on each of them. I'll go into it. Pound the obvious guys. So I think Gary Sanchez makes a lot of sense to hit a home run. You're probably looking at about 3.5 or 4-1 here. This was just a parlay I had put together. Soto to get a hit, Gomber to allow at least 6, and Sanchez to hit a home run. I thought that would pay pretty well, and I kind of mixed it around too. At the end of the day, I think when you throw a home run in with just like other props, obviously it would suck if you get the home run and miss the others, and it sucks if you get all the others and miss the home run. So typically I'll separate them, but this was just kind of a crude parlay I threw together. But what I do like is say you do $50 for a unit, right? I went ahead and did. I have to wait to lock it because my props don't open yet. So if I go to props now, it's like Brazilian baseball or something. But I know the lines that they're going to be about plus 325 to plus 400. Yeah, there we go. For any of the individuals that I have chosen. So I like Soto to hit a home run it would be $12.50, because it's going to be a quarter of a unit. That's going to pay probably plus 350. And the goal here is obviously if any one of these individuals hits a home run, it's about a break even. It could even be a small profit. And if more than one do, and since it's kind of a level system, I'm again, this is kind of in the test trials. I've been monitoring it for a bit, and it seems like it's going to work. Instead of chasing the guys that haven't got hits, I'm kind of going with the ones that aren't the most obvious, but they've been doing pretty good. So Soto to get a home run for a quarter of a unit. I like Ryan McMahon to get a home run for a quarter of a unit. I think it's going to be scoring on both sides, and he's just a reliable guy. Probably between 350 and 400. They are at home, so maybe not as good of odds, but he's definitely going to be plus 325 or better, I would believe. The third guy that I do like to hit a home run is Manny Machado. I think Tatis might get slammed, and sometimes it is just, luck of the draw. It could be Tatis that hits it. But I went with Machado instead of Tatis this game. And the fourth guy is, as you saw, Sanchez. I think he's a great X factor where people aren't going to be slamming him to hit a home run, but it's cores. Almost anybody can hit a home run. So, yeah, that's if you're feeling froggy, I guess you could try parlays. But I would suggest just doing a quarter unit on each one of them. And I'll be going into the system a little deeper for the people that want an explanation. Again, that's stuff I typically just post on the Buy Me a Coffee because it's all charts and things of that nature. It's all charted out, which is kind of boring to show. But as far as what makes me like certain games, yeah, the value for the Phillies here, the fact that they're not great at covering, I feel like the public's not going to slam them -1.5. And on the for the props, I looked at all the different games, and I just, I have a good feeling that the Padres-Rockies is going to be a slugfest. So already knowing that, it makes it exponentially easier, and if I'm right, I'm not saying I'm going to be right, to pick what might happen. So there's a good chance we're going to see some home runs. There's a good chance, so if you wanted to pick, I've seen people in my Discord, they've basically picked, like, if they think it's going to be like that, almost every player except like one or two to get a hit or reach base. And gosh, I've seen people go like 12 out of 13. I don't know if I've ever seen someone hit every one, but people go really close. So there's a lot of things you can do with it. I'm not getting too crazy with playing like 7-8 legs. I'm just going to go ahead and do the individual home runs. And like I said, I like a Soto run/RBI combined with like a McMahon hit combined with Gomber to give up 6 or more hits. Something like that will pay a 3-4 to 1, and I think it's a safe parlay. So yeah, I'd hone in on that game. Again, I could be incredibly wrong. I just thought I'd put this out there because I haven't really gone too much into baseball, and it's just something that not a lot of people love to see. But it's kind of how I'm going to be handling football. I'll be going into the props the same way. I'm looking forward to player props. We killed it in football season without even doing player props. And with all in the running back nonsense, I think it's pretty obvious we have an idea of which running backs are going to get used and just essentially how certain players are going to do. So, yeah, nothing crazy. There's some other games I like. I like the Cubs here, Stroman going. There's other ones I like. But I really wanted to hone in on what I thought would seem to be the best value here in the Phillies. And what I think is kind of like not a trap, but just a suspicious line with this over-under, where obviously like the over on this Padres game. So, yeah, I'll be trying it's crazy, Dylan. Me neither, because I never saw it like zoomed in on. I just saw, them showing the guy with it. It does. It looks like a mummified alien zombie. It's pretty crazy. Apparently it was, I think, Hutch said that it was changed in 2021 to like be LeBron James, but it's still a really weird looking trophy. But yeah, so I like the over. Looks nice here, and let me know if you agree. Let me know if you think that when players seem to get hits, they seem to be in bunches. I mean, I guess that would make sense if it's real or fake, right? Like, player gets hot, he starts seeing the ball well. And let me know what you think of the if you've tried the level system, because again, the one distinction, and I tell people this all the time, is, and it's the reason long term we've done well on the channel across every sport, is the not chasing after the third. So I would do a unit again on the Phillies. That would be, if they hits, that's great. 2 units, 3 or then 4 units for the leg 3. But then we don't perpetually chase. And that's really the one difference I've noticed where I see Martingale systems fail. But we did it, and it worked great for all the sports thus far. Some have done better than others. I think football, because it's like the perfect amount of games, is why we did the best. Because we also, like, our second and third best was college football and college baseball. So, or not baseball, college basketball. And they're closer to the football schedule, whereas basketball has more games, baseball too. So I found that interesting. They all wind up doing well. Hockey's actually one with a lot of games that we did really well with. And it's kind of for the same reason I went into at the very beginning of this video. Not to get redundant, but the Phillies here at plus 150 with 3 cracks at it, and each crack we're actually getting paid more. I've noticed that's a really nice value touch that by incorporating that, I've noticed a huge difference. So yeah, maybe this will help you. Maybe if you were going to play some of these games anyway, you could take the adjusted spread or the alternate spread's another thing I like. So, if I'm going to take the Guardians here, there's a good chance I'm going to take them on the alternate spread, because now we're going to get like plus 2 something. And sure, they could win by exactly 1. It happens a lot. But I've noticed, especially with the level system, taking the alternate spread given the 1.5, in most cases is a winner. Not always. We had like three games in the last couple days, important ones. The second level, third level, and they won like 3-2, 2-1. It happens, but for the most part, I've noticed trying to get the most value you can, it really does wind up paying off. So yeah, as I always say, nothing crazy. I just thought I'd go into why I like certain teams, and nothing's really changing me. I think the Reds are going to win the. I have them winning the NL. I really think that they're going to push the young guys, and I think the trading's going on now, so they could land somebody. They got Voto. People brought to my attention that they could just be like a Miami Heat, and I definitely see that maybe too. So if they went far and then just got bumped by the Braves, it wouldn't be a shocker. But I think they're going to go a lot further than people think, and I think they're ahead of the Brewers now. I'm almost positive they are, and I think that's a great take, them to win the division instead of the Brewers. So yeah, I just want to give you my assessment of what I've noticed so far. I don't follow crazy. I just kind of follow the numbers, and overall for most teams it works out. Ironically, the Reds have been biting us lately because I've been fading them, and they just keep covering spreads. I think that comes to an end soon too, though. So yeah, hopefully these guys hit some home runs. I think they will. Like I said, I've been following this trend for a bit, and by spreading it out among a few guys, it's I think very, especially again using a level system, I think it's going to wind up doing pretty good. So we'll see how this one does. It's the first of its kind, I guess, the first video I'm doing of this kind with props and everything, but we'll see how we do. Take care, everybody, and